Baruchi nafshi et Adonai, Adonai Elohai gedalta me'od. Baruchi nafshi et Adonai, Adonai Elohai gedalta me'od. Od v'hadal avashta, O te'or kasalma, note hamayim ki'ariya, Baruchi nafshi et Adonai, Adonai Elohai gadalta me'od.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And Gamar Chatima Tova. That is what we say on Yom Kippur, which means may we be inscribed for a good year. There's also an abbreviated way of saying that, which is Gamar Tov. So everybody say Gamar Tov.
Gamar Tov.
There you go. So before we begin our service this evening, let me just share that what Cantor just sang is the beautiful Baruchi Nafshi, which is to remind us that on Kol Nidre, we enwrap ourselves in our talitot. So if you wear a talit, I'll ask you to join me at this time. And again, it's traditional to wear it on Kol Nidre. We are on page 2 on our Machzor. I'm going to ask you to please join me. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Krishanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu V'chitatef B'tzitzit. Blessed are you, eternal our God, who commands us to wrap ourselves in the tzitzit. So I'm Rabbi Marcy Block, and I'm grateful to be here again with guest cantor Michael Trachtenberg, our cantorial soloist Robin Kuda, and grateful to be here with our TDD Generations Choir, led by Lori Riley and our accompanist Anthony Ciotti. And I know you've already had a moment to greet each other, but we can never have enough moments to greet each other. So let's take a moment to say Gamar Tov to someone next to us on our left or right. Maybe someone you don't know.
Gamar Tov.
And for all of our friends who are in hospital rooms or at home who can't be here, I'll ask you to just turn around and also wave to them and wish them a Gamar Tov. They love this. See, they can see all of your hands. Wish them a Gamar Tov and a Shana Tova. For those of you who are here with us in person, I will ask that you should at this time have a Machzor. It should be the silver one. If you are joining us through live stream, we hope that you picked one up earlier in the week. Also, if you need any emergency exits at any time, there's one here, 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 and here. And if you can't stand, please don't. Health and well-being come first. And also, many of us have begun our fast. And if you can't fast for medical reasons, Judaism demands that you don't. So please don't feel guilty about it. Just don't fast. And I'll also just add to it that I'm a little under the weather. Not COVID, but a little under the weather. So if you hear me coughing, I'm okay. And just wanted to let you know, not COVID. The world we live in now, right? Okay, so a little story to start off our service this evening. Once upon a time, there were 2 synagogues directly across the street from one another. Imagine that. The sun began to set, and a woeful wail of Kol Nidre would soon waft through the streets. At the first synagogue, as the people streamed in for Yom Kippur, they moaned, they wailed, "Woe is us!" On this day of atonement, their prayers were fervent and heartfelt. They left for their midday naps tired and worried, but as they departed the shul, they could hear the synagogue across the street. And they sounded joyful. They could hear laughing and celebration. And as the people streamed out, arm in arm from synagogue number 2, the people from synagogue number 1 said, "How can you celebrate like this? Don't you know that you sit before the throne of judgment? Today, your fate will be sealed. You should be worried." And the people from synagogue number 2 looked at them and said, "What are you worried about? This is the same judge that let us off last year." Here we are again, facing the same judge, facing our same self-judgment. What will the outcome be? Who will be? And how will we feel when we go forth into this year? Joyful and relieved, or fearful and worried? That is the quest of this evening, to experience it all. We continue on page 9 as we call upon Roberta Krolik to kindle our Yom Tov lights. Page 9.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us. Guided by the flame of conscience on this sacred night, we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness on this atonement night. We give thanks for love. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligation, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Yom Kippur. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the life within us, and bringing us to this time.
We continue page 14. Let's read together. Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, and Kol Nidre, its sacred portal, a night of deep emotions, a night, as the psalmist wrote, to rejoice with trembling. We rejoice at the sound of Kol Nidre, rhythmic words of release from vows, oaths, and promises to God we fail to keep. We tremble at the melody, music of spiritual amazement. It fills us with awe as we stand before God and Torah. We rejoice that we stand together, strengthened by community in this hour of shared weakness and humility. We tremble, for tonight we confess our flaws, admit our imperfection, and acknowledge a power far beyond our understanding. We rejoice that we commit ourselves to great endeavors because we feel so deeply and think so nobly. We tremble, for we find that our ideals are far greater than our ability. Our promises surpass our might. We rejoice in the freedom that is Kol Nidre's true gift, the freedom to begin a new year without fear of failure, to aspire to be God's image in the world. We tremble because we are mortal. We rejoice in our gratitude for life. We rejoice with trembling and enter Kol Nidre to face our humanity. We call upon Josh and Julie Feinberg to open the Ark doors, as well as our current president, Rachel DiDio, and past presidents Neil Toff, Adam Silverman, Hal Mandel, and Iris Kaufman, as we rise on page 16, as Cantor will lead us in a moment in Orza Ruah.
Orza Ruah LaTzadik U'Yishrei Lev Simcha.
Page 16, we, with one voice, assembled sages, past and present, declare, all may pray as one on this night of repentance. Let none be excluded from our community of prayer. With one voice, God and congregation proclaim, all may pray as one on this day of return. Let all find a place in this sacred assembly.
Kol Nidre Vesarev V'Charameh V'Konameh V'Chinuyeh V'Kinusei U'Shevuot בטלים ומבוטלים, לא שרירים ולא קיימים.
Together, let's read at the top of page 19. Let our speech be pure and our promises sincere. Let our spoken words, every vow and every oath, be honest and well-intentioned. Let our words cause no pain, bring no harm, and never lead to shame, distrust, or fear. And if after honest effort we are unable to fulfill a promise, a vow, or an oath, may we be released from its obligation and forgiven for our failure. Let our speech be pure and our promises sincere. 20, all shall be forgiven, the entire community of Israel, and the stranger who lives in their midst, for all have gone astray in error. Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love. We remain standing as we continue on page 22 with the singing of Baruch Hu. Please be seated. We continue on page 24. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Together in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons. in causing the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all and all that is beyond our perception. Living eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Aravim. We rise for Shema, page 28.
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. A group of American school children were asked to list what they thought were the present 7 wonders of the world. Though there were some disagreements, the following received the most votes: Egypt's Great Pyramids, Taj Mahal, Grand Canyon, Panama Canal, the Empire State Building, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Great Wall of China. While gathering the votes, the teacher noted that one student had not finished her paper yet. So she asked the girl if she was having trouble with her list. The little girl replied, "Yes, a little. I couldn't quite make up my mind because there's just so many." The teacher said, "Well, tell us what you have and maybe we can help." The girl hesitated and then read, "The 7 wonders of the world are to see, to hear, to touch, to taste, to feel, to laugh, and to love." The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The things we overlook as simple and ordinary and that we take for granted are truly wondrous. A gentle reminder that the most precious things in life cannot be built by hand or bought by man. We continue thinking about the most precious thing in life as we chant our prayer of love. The Ve'ahavta, page 30.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue with our Song of Freedom, page 40, Mi Chamocha.
Thank
continue as we imagine God spreading over us a shelter of shalom, a shelter of peace, as we listen to Cantor sing Hashkivenu, page 42.
Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, leshalom. Vehamidenu, shomreinu, lechaim. Ufros aleinu, sukat shelomecha, vetakneinu b'yitzat tova milfanecha, ve'hoshienu lema'an shemecha.
Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said, prayer is the act of listening to God, listening to us. Let's rise for tefillah, if you're able, as we listen and God listens. Page 46.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rika, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'gibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim, Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Hu Mehevi Geula, Libnei V'neihem Leman Shemo, Be'ava. Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezra Hatzara.
Amen. Page 50, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Tavrav Lehoshia, together in the English, your life-giving power is forever. Just liberate and save. From life to death. You support the falling, heal the sick, free the imprisoned and confined. You are faithful. Power beyond power. Merciful God who compares. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust. You sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, wellspring of blessing, power eternal. You are the one who gives and renews all life. Page 53, Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kdoshim b'chol yom yahalucha sela. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness, praise you day by day. Selah. We ask that you be seated, and we continue on page 78 with Shalom Rav.
ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. ברכה ושלום, וניצחר וניכתב לפניך. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל, Hashalom.
We continue silently through page 81, offering the words on the pages or the words of our hearts. On page 82, we find the Vidui. It's actually traditional that we recite the Vidui on our deathbed. And it's here in the Yom Kippur prayers. We'll recite it tonight, we'll recite it tomorrow. This prayer is here for one simple reason. It's here to say, live your life. We only get so many days here in this world. We rise, page 82, with the Vidui. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tefilatenu. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we return to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. At this time, we recite our list of alphabetical sins. We take our hands and we strike our heart as we do it, hoping that we will open ourselves up to turning and changing.
Ashanu בגדנו, גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, האבינו והרשענו, זדנו, חמסנו, טפלנו שקר, יחצנו רע, כתבנו, לטנו, מרדנו, ניאצנו, שררנו, אבינו, פשענו, צררנו, קישינו עורף, רשענו, שחטנו, תיאבנו, טעינו, תיתנו.
Let's read together. Of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander. We devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, we disobey, we abuse, we defy, we are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill, we spoil, we go astray, we lead others astray. Please be seated. Let's read together on page 83. When I was young and learned the alphabet, life was open to me. A was full of aspiration, B was for beauty, C for confidence, and D for dreams. And so on through the list, no fewer than 26 opportunities, 26 possibilities. And yet I fear that with the passage of time, I've squandered them, creating instead A's of apathy, B's of brusqueness, C's of coarseness. Help me then to return to that innocence. On page 86, we find the long confession, which we know as the Al-Khaitz. Our tradition teaches that we do this together. We recite the Al-Khaitz together so that even if we are not necessarily guilty of one of these in the Al-Khaitz, that we are all here confessing as a community for all that we've done. And no one should feel embarrassed that if they did anything, that everyone says it together. So we rise on page 86, and again, it's traditional to strike your heart as we join together for the Al-Khaitz. For these sins, our God, we ask forgiveness. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused in your world through careless speech. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by judging others.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty and business.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by losing self-control. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through greed and exploitation. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through cynicism and scorn, and harm we have caused in your world through arrogant behavior. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you with a slanderous tongue, and harm we have caused in your world through a selfish or petty spirit. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Please be seated. We continue as Robin leads us in the middle of page 104.
Our God and God of our fathers, God of our mothers, do not abandon us, leaving us in shame. Do not dissolve the covenant you made with us. Rather, draw us near to your teaching. Show us your ways and teach us how to live. Let us be open to your love, ready to revere your very being. Cut away the hardness of our hearts so that we may turn to you with all our heart's devotion, truly repentant. For the sake of your great name, pardon our failures, forgive our moral weakness, as in the holy words of your psalmist, Adonai, as befits your name, forgive my sin, no matter how great.
We continue page 106 as the choir leads us in Kianu Mecha. We call upon David and Nancy Beelan at this time, and we ask that all the members of our finance committee who are here this evening to please rise at their seats so that we can thank you. Thank you for your dedication to our congregation and all the work that you've done this past year. We also ask the congregation to please rise for Avinu Malkeinu on page 113. Bottom of page 113. Let's read together. Avinu Malkeinu, why? Avinu Malkeinu, are you there? Do you care? Avinu Malkeinu, hear our pain, hear our anger, hear our grief. Avinu Malkeinu, here is our prayer. Give us the strength to go on. Give us reasons to get up each day. Give us purpose and persistence. Help us to be kind. Don't make us bow or grovel for your favor. Give us dignity and give us courage. Avinu Malkeinu, show us the way to a year of goodness. Renew our belief.
The world can be better. Restore our faith in life. Restore our faith in you.
We continue page 114, reading together. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew us of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu ve'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'hoshienu, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'hoshienu.
Please be seated. We think of all of our loved ones who are in need of healing of body, mind, and soul. In addition to those in our circle of family and friends and our community, we also think of those on the west coast of our state who were impacted by Hurricane Ian. We ask you at this time to please hold the names of your loved ones in your hearts, all of those in your life that need healing. Let's take a moment to just think of them. Baruch atah Adonai makor chayim, blessed are you, Adonai, source of life. We continue page 273 with the singing of the Mishaberach.
May the source of strength, who bless the
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Gamar Tov.
Gamar Tov.
I got it. It's good. Tonight, on the holiest evening of the year, I share with you these words. It's okay not to be okay. We are here in this together. If you don't remember who said this, it was Michael Phelps last year, a few days after Simone Biles, at the height of her career, admitted to the world that she had daily mental health struggles. I share these words tonight because I know we are not all okay. And in all honesty, how could we be? I know no one wants to talk about COVID anymore, and I get it. We're tired of it, and we'd rather pretend it never happened. So I'm not going to talk about COVID itself tonight. Instead, as we learn to navigate our way through life with COVID, I want to talk about something that concerns me even more than COVID ever did. What concerns me is that we are avoiding talking about the trauma that we've been through. As psychologist Alex Stratner said, people were traumatized by COVID. Millions of people have died. There has not been a processing on a grand scale of what it is we just endured. And what that means is that people right here, maybe even sitting next to you, are not okay. In the last 2 years, all of us have been through isolation, uncertainty, and grief of some sort. Some of us lost friends and relatives. We had changes in work schedules and environments. We may not have seen friends and family for months, or if we did see them, their faces were behind masks. The places where we would go to unwind, restaurants, movie theaters, and sporting events, closed. Synagogues and school buildings closed. We were forced to spend innumerable, sometimes seemingly interminable hours in the presence of our immediate family members. Or for those living alone, there were seemingly interminable hours without human contact. And let's not forget that all of this was in addition to the regular stressors that come with life: laundry, dishes, cooking, cleaning, paying bills, childcare, homework, etc. So on this Kol Nidre, when we make vows and reflect on how we missed the mark this past year, I want to begin an open and honest conversation about where we are individually and collectively. A few months ago, in the same week, 2 teens whom I know, whose parents have given me permission to speak about this, one from our community and one from a former congregation, were on suicide watch. During that week, my heart was in pain as I listened to the helpless parents of both teenagers, fearful, helpless parents, both fearful of losing their children. Thankfully, both teens are getting the help they need. But sadly, those families' experiences are becoming more common. All of my friends with teenagers talk about how their children are struggling, the loss of friendship circles during quarantine, the bullying that takes place on social media, the increase in shootings, and the ongoing question of, can we go to the movie theater, the mall, the grocery store, concerts? Really? Where is safe? Teens see the changes in climate and feel frustrated as adults around them, ignoring the impending catastrophe. There's a lot of hopelessness. In fact, one of my dear friends who has 2 teens said to me, "How can I blame my teenagers for hiding in TikTok or YouTube where they see funny videos? At least they're finding a place to laugh, unlike the real world that terrifies them." According to the World Health Organization, teenagers had a 17.3% increase in the use of anxiety medication in the first 2 years of the pandemic, almost double from 2019. So yes, I'm worried about our teens, but I'm worried about all of us. Seniors, empty nesters, middle-aged, millennials, everyone. In 2020, the global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by a massive 25%. The simple truth is that a lot more people are struggling than they were before. Across the country, many psychologists and psychiatrists have been witnessing the pandemic's mental health effects firsthand. Their facilities are filled to capacity. Some of their patients are in significantly worse shape than before. They see patients who had been stable for years but who are now in need of medication, intensive outpatient treatment, or hospitalization. Maybe some of you don't struggle with diagnosable mental illness, but surely most of us know someone who does. Even if we have not been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder or depression, surely all of us have experienced the physical ramifications of emotional and psychological circumstances. Butterflies in our stomach before a big presentation, excess stomach acid following a heated disagreement with a loved one, difficulty sleeping when work stress is high, physical exhaustion when grieving the death of a loved one. So it's not like we can't imagine what it might be like to have more extreme versions of some of these struggles. And while we don't talk about it very often, mental illness is not absent from Jewish tradition. After the Akedah, when Abraham nearly sacrifices Isaac, Isaac pretty much disappears from the family narrative. The rabbis depict him wandering in the field every afternoon, which leads some commentators to discuss Isaac as the first recorded example of post-traumatic stress disorder. And how did Isaac's mother Sarah respond to her son's ordeal? From the biblical narrative, it looks like it killed her. Noah is described as abusing alcohol after the horrors of the flood. Saul, the first king of Israel, was overcome by a ruach ra'ah, an evil spirit, which made him paranoid and homicidal. And then there's Psalm 88, which expresses desperation, anger, loneliness, and depression. The psalm states, "O God of my deliverance, when I cry out in the night before you, let my prayer reach you. Incline your ear to my cry, for I am sated with misfortune. I am at the brink of death. I am shut in and I cannot go out. My eyes pine away from affliction. I call to you, O God, each day. I stretch out my hands to you. Are your wonders made known in the darkness? your righteousness in the land of the forgotten. We even have a prayer that we recite every Shabbat and holiday, the Mishaberach, which we just sang, in which we ask for healing of body and of spirit, refuat hanefesh urefuat haguf. Because Judaism has always recognized that spiritual pain is real and that people in spiritual pain need healing. As Rabbi Moses Maimonides once wrote, there is health and illness of the soul, just as there is health and illness of the body. And it is an obligation in our tradition to work to heal both. Given all these prayers and the evidence of emotional or psychological struggle in our sacred text, I would hope that there would be much less stigma around mental health in our community. But unfortunately, the stigma remains. That stigma keeps some people from seeking the professional help that they need. It keeps others from finding community support for themselves and their families. Perhaps we can eliminate some of that stigma from refraining how we think about mental health struggles. Consider, for example, these words of Rabbi Nachman of Braslav, a well-known Hasidic rabbi who lived in the 18th and early 19th century. He taught, struggle with your sadness, struggle with your soul. The point is not to rid oneself of struggle, but to accept it as a condition of being human. If struggling is being human, then there should be no stigma. People need to be able to come out from the shadows about mental illness and emotional struggles, and we individually and as a community need to be prepared to open our hearts and our hearts and our arms so we can hold people with love. There's a story in the Talmud about Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, one of the great rabbis of the first century, and his friend and student, Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer had been lying in total darkness for quite a long time. Yochanan ben Zakkai went to visit his friend and sat in the dark with him. Eventually, sitting by the bedside of Eliezer, Yochanan ben Zakkai asked his friend, why is he crying and why he cannot pull himself out of the bed? Is it because you think you haven't studied enough Torah or acquired enough wealth? We all have our faults. That's no reason to stay in bed all the time. No, says Eliezer, it's not because of those things. Eliezer goes on to describe how he feels that the entire world is enveloped in darkness and that any beauty in the world is ultimately meaningless. So why? Why should he get out of bed? Yochanan ben Zakkai doesn't argue with him. Instead, he sits by his friend and they weep together. But after some time passed, Yochanan ben Zakkai asks Eliezer if he would accept a helping hand. With some hesitation, Eliezer accepts the offer of help. Yochanan takes Eliezer by the hand, and the two of them leave the darkness and enter the light together. There has been a great deal of darkness the last 2+ years. There has been so much pain in our country. Can we be like Rabbi Yochanan Can we sit in the darkness with another until they're ready to return to the light? Can we be present to another's pain even if we don't really understand? Can we weep with them? I believe that we can and we will. This year at Temple Dor Dorim, we're going to focus on mental health. We're going to ensure that our teens are okay and that all of us are okay. We're going to make sure that we all feel loved and not alone. We're going to work to create resource guides of counselors and people here in Weston who can be supportive. We're going to create programs where we can hear from different speakers and educators. Our social action team is going to make mental health first aid kits for our teens. Tomorrow during our TDD talks, I've asked Dr. Abby Shepard-Smith, a congregant and psychologist, to lead a brainstorm session on how we can do better as a community. What more can we be doing to help our teens and our community at large? I know we can do more. So on this, the holiest night of the year, I say this to everyone. I see you, I hear you, and I am here for you. And this is what I challenge all of us to do for each other. I challenge all of us to think about how we can be there for each other, how we can help hold each other. As Rabbi Nachman said, we all struggle, each and every one of us. And we can all be like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was able to sit with another person as he wept. We can hold the hand of another as they struggle in the darkness until they are ready to step toward the light. So yes, it's okay not to be okay. But we are all in this together. Remember, you are not alone. Gamar Chatima Tova.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear, like you could fall and no one would hear? So let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. Someone will come running, and I know
At this time, we rise for the Aleinu. And we invite Lori Riley and Lisa Levine representing our choir and all of our choir. And we're going to continue on 100.
116. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'alyotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzon, velo samanu kamishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. If you are on the security committee here at Temple Dor Dorim, I ask you to please rise. Yes, I see other people on the security team here. If you're on the security team, please rise so that we can thank you. Well, you can't rise. Neil Toff is on it. I think Jacob is sleeping. But I just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you for all the work that all of you have done to help us be safe here at Temple Dor Dorim. And I'd like to call upon Johnny Koenig, who's the chair of our security committee, as he leads us in announcements this evening. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening, Erev Tov, Shana Tova. I want to wish you all, everyone, a happy and healthy new year. We are so glad that you are with us here this evening. I want to thank Rabbi Bloch, guest cantor Trachtenberg, and cantorial soloist Robin Kuda for leading us in our service this evening. We would also like to welcome our newest staff members, David Pasternak. Are you here, David? Hello. Our new executive director who joined us 3 weeks ago, and Jessica Smiley. Are you here tonight? She is our new religious school director who joined us in mid-August, and we hope you take the time to greet them during these holidays. I want to also thank Faye, Jamie, Sheila, Judy, Jill, and again our newest staff members, David and Jessica, for helping to coordinate all our services and programs for these high holidays. Also want to thank our maintenance staff for all the assistance in preparing the building for these special days. Thank you to Abby Shepard-Smith, our ritual chair, for her dedication in helping in preparing these high holidays as well. And special thank you to our security team, MGM Security, and BSO for always taking care of our community and ensuring our safety here. Thank you to all the readers, the shofar sounders, and volunteers who have participated in our services and programs this high holidays. I wanted to also thank Lori Riley for her coordination of all the choir components for our services. Thank you very much, choir. To all the choir members here for the beautiful music and for all the time and energy that you have put into our service this year. And thanks to Anthony Chiotti for accompanying our choir. Also want to thank our technology crew, Zebedee Productions, Christian and Jody. We will be collecting food donations for the Cupboard, a local kosher food bank, again this year. So you can please take a Publix grocery bag outside and bring them back filled up tomorrow. or by Thursday, October the 6th. And you can join us tomorrow for more Yom Kippur services throughout the day. Please refer to your program for the times and just ensure that you're pre-registered. L'Shana Tova, Gemar Chatima Tova.
Thank you. Our thoughts now turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circle of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronan livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. If you are thinking of a loved one, we ask you to hold them in your hearts as we hold you up. As a congregation, we'll rise for Kaddish Tom on page 122. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kori v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'olmei olmaya Yit barak v'yishtabak v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit halev v'yit halal Shmei dekodesha brichu Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata dat miran bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May the source of peace bestow peace upon all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
Please be seated. We continue and conclude our service on page 124 with the singing of Achat Sha'alti.
Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai Achat sha'alti ota vakesh Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai Achat sha'alti ota vakesh Shivti, Shivti, Bevet Adonai. Shivti, Shivti, Kol Yamei Chaya, Lachazot Benoam Adonai. Ulvaker Behechalo Lachazot Benoam Adonai to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. One thing, I will ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai Achat sha'alti ota vakesh.
We rise for a closing blessing. our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations. May your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. Shana Tova and Gamar Chatima Tova. See you tomorrow. Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Nicely done, man.